Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our review, wrap up, whatever you want to call it, of the Carnival Venezia. Now, we were on the Carnival Venezia over New Year's Eve, so it was a New Year's Eve cruise. So let's talk about the embarkation process. We live here just outside of Orlando, so we went out of Cape Carnival, so it wasn't that far to get there. We just woke up late that day.
You two woke up late.
Well, it's not like you were like waking up at 6:30 ready to go.
I was up at 8, ready to go.
Anyway, so we get in the car. We left a little bit later than we anticipated, but that's okay.
It's okay. We still made it.
Sailed out of Terminal 3. That's kind of where we ran into a little bit of an issue. We went to the garage, dropped our luggage off with the porters, went and parked. Hard to park on the top deck because the Venezia also shares the garage with the Mardi Gras. So you have, between the two of them, roughly 10,000 passengers in there over the weekend. All the signs say go down to level 3 of the garage.
So we did.
So we did. They said there's a walkway to the terminal from level 3. Take the elevator down to level 3, get off, go to where the walkway is to go over to the terminal, and the lady from the port says, "Oh, you can't go over. You can't walk this way. You have to have
Priority boarding."
Priority boarding. We didn't have priority boarding. This was like noon. According to our Facebook group, people were already on the ship. They'd done their muster drill. They'd gotten a drink or two. They had a guy's burger or two. And yet we didn't have priority boarding, so we couldn't cross that way. Didn't quite understand that one, so no big deal. We'd go down 3 flights of stairs, cross the street, get over to the street where in front of the terminal, there's elevator, escalator, stairs, and a ramp. So they said, they look at our ticket. We're, a few minutes past what our check-in time was on our thing, no big deal. And they're like, okay, go off to the right. We go off to the right. We get to the bottom of the escalator, and again are told, oh, you don't have priority boarding. You have to use the ramp. Not the stairs.
The ramp.
Not the elevator. We have to use the ramp.
With 3 flights of stairs, there was a poor woman in an ECV that was getting the runaround. Then there was an older gentleman having to go completely up the ramp. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just use the elevator or the escalator for the two of them.
Right. So nobody was allowed to use only if you had priority boarding
could you use the escalator.
But everybody else had to walk.
Yeah.
And you couldn't use the steps either. You had to use only the ramp.
Right. But we survived. We made it up to 3 flights of the ramp. Got in there. Got on the boat. And we got on the ship. There was no problem once we got through security.
The process was super simple.
Right. Once we got there, but it was just getting to there. So that's the great thing. Now we're on the ship. No worries at this point. Now that we're on the ship, let's talk about this ship as a whole. Me personally, the most beautiful ship I've ever been on.
I would have to agree with you on there. The artwork around the ship was simply gorgeous.
Now, it's a Carnival ship. It's Carnival Venezia. It came over from the Costa brand, and it is definitely Italian themed. The restaurants were gorgeous, the gondola restaurant. And the fact that it's decorated for Christmas, because it's right after Christmas, it made it that much better. The ship flowed. Deck 3, which was where you walked in, and that was the main atrium. Because the Marco Polo restaurant was right off the atrium, and that's where you had your dining time, your early or late dining
Time, yeah.
You couldn't walk from the middle to the back on Deck 3. So you'd have to go up to 4 or down to 2 and walk across. But that was really the only spot that you couldn't really go. And if you wanted to walk outside, you could go up to Deck 5. They had the promenade almost
Go up here from the entire ship.
360 degrees all the way around the ship, which I did a couple times, which was great. I mean, it was.
Me and Anthony did that too.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot of good space. They had a lot of quality space that you could just sit around and shoot the breeze with the families. This was a family cruise for us. It was the 3 of us plus my sister, her husband, their kids, grandkids. It was a great family time. And so a lot of times we just kind of sat around and talked and chilled and had a great time.
There was a lot of spaces on this ship that you could do that. Even in the atrium area, there was a couple nights where we found a little spot, could listen to the music. It was close enough to the bar if you wanted to get a drink, soda, coffee. I mean, I even got a mocha one night. I think the ship was easy to navigate, to go around. Like, it was easy to find where you were going, and I never felt lost. We had a good foundation day one. We figured out where everything was, and we were able to find our way around pretty quickly the entire time.
Yeah.
That I did like about the ship. And the artwork. I can't say enough about the artwork. I took lots of pictures of the artwork.
Definitely beautiful. It was not the party ship that people call Carnival.
No, not at all. It was very family orientated. The casinos were great.
Yeah. They had a smoking and a non-smoking casino.
Which was nice. The fun shops, I kind of liked how like the shops were like on 2 levels.
Right.
With
That was
different
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool too. Pretty decent sized cherry on top too. The only thing that where we would see the shows,
Here?
the
The
theater, yeah, they didn't really have like the stadium seating there.
I would say that's a drawback, definitely.
But that's really the only drawback from the entire ship that I can think of.
Right. And the other things are the main Lido deck on deck 10 has got a dome that they can close.
Yeah.
If the dome is closed,
It's hot.
It's hot. It's like a greenhouse sauna in there.
And embarkation day, because it was kind of icky weather in Florida, the dome was closed, so it was really hot and sticky in there for the sail away party.
Right. But then also on New Year's Eve, they had the dome. They had the dome open. It was great. It was nice and breezy, comfortable, no problems. However, that area is relatively small.
Oh yeah.
Very
it's
small.
Really small.
And so if you go up on deck 11 to watch that, to look down, you're fine. But if you go up to deck 12,
Can't see anything.
you can't see because you've got your walking area, then you've got about 6 foot of track that the dome rides on. Then you look down. So if you're looking on deck 12 down onto deck 10, the Lido where the main stage was, you're missing half of it just because of the space for the tracking. I would do the ship again in a heartbeat, and there's nothing I would really complain
I
about it.
really liked how they had the game area and the library area on deck 11.
Mm-hmm.
It was very
yeah.
cool because you had like little squares that had like couches and stuff. So like we were there with your sister one night just hanging out, and that was really nice. In the library there was obviously books and games like they do in all the other ones, but it also had they had foosball. I know you and Carson
Yeah,
played
me and
there,
Carson played foosball
but
and
I
handball.
liked the layout that they had of that on deck 11. It was really nice.
It definitely reminded me a lot of the Princess Cruise Line, where you've got a lot of spaces to sit down and converse and get to know the people that you're with and get to know other people that are on the cruise with you.
Yeah, meet new friends.
So now that we have a good picture of the ship as a whole, let's talk about our little portion, our room. We were in interior room 7301, and for me on a cruise ship, I like interior rooms, especially if we're going to places that we've already been before. So we know what to look at, we know what it's like, we know all the things about it. If it's a new place or Alaska or someplace where it's beautiful outside, then definitely yes, balcony room. But for the most part, I like interiors because they're quiet, they're cold, and they get dark at night. And they're cheaper. So sometimes you can get, for what you pay for one balcony room, you can get 2 interior rooms. But that's just me. That's my personal thought process. It was interior room set up for 3. We had a king size, the bed set up for a king size. He had the top bunk
thingy
that lifted down.
Yeah.
that somebody, mom, hit their head on day 1.
Sure did. I was trying to be quiet, coming back from the bathroom, and I thought I cleared it, but I didn't.
No, you didn't. I heard a thud. It was like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, well, sorry.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens. The one thing I didn't like about the room was the lack of space for your clothing.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Joaquin had to live out of his suitcase.
Hey, I chose to live out of my suitcase.
Right, but at the same time, they only had 2 hanging closets.
2
That is
hanging
true.
closets and 3 drawers, and that was it.
Yeah.
So one of us would have had to live out of our suitcase. The shower was small.
Really small.
I had a hard time shaving my legs, so I would take a hand towel from the wall and put it on top of the toilet seat and then open up the door and then shave my legs that way.
I kept elbowing the wall whenever I showered.
Yeah, and there was, you know how on some ships you get the shampoo and the body gel? This was all combined into one little container thingy on the wall. But the room was pretty with the artwork in it.
They definitely had, because they did have the artwork on the back wall, unlike a lot of other places, a lot of other cabins that just have basic generic wallpaper.
Plenty of space for to charge your phones and watches and stuff, like USB ports. You even had a little light up in
I had a
here.
little light. I never used it.
You had a USB port up there too,
I
didn't you? No, you didn't? Just a light?
Just a light.
Our refrigerator little thing got really, really cold. It kept our water real cold, which usually it's just kind of not.
More like a cooler than a refrigerator.
This was cold.
I mean, truthfully, you're in the room to sleep and change clothes and shower, and that's about it. And now on to what a lot of people focus on a cruise, the food. The food here was a little bit different. If you're used to Carnival, you're used to Guy's Burgers. There was a Guy's Burger on there that did have a couple different items on there. They had a pizza burger, which I had a couple of those.
You sure did.
They were good. They were definitely had a lot more to offer than just the plain Jane. They did not have a blue iguana, but had a Tomadoros, which is basically the same thing, just an Italian name. And this is all in the Lido deck area around the pool. They had Guy's Burgers. They had a Tomadora. They had a Rococo, which was a bar similar to what you would be the Red Frog. And then the Java Blue was also right there on the Lido.
That was a beautiful Java Blue.
Right.
And then on sea days, they have that outdoor like barbecue place.
Right.
Oh yeah, on deck 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which we ate there, which, like I said, for me personally, the meatballs were good. The banana pudding was not good. It's not my mom's banana pudding or my father's banana pudding, so I can't eat it. And you had the creamed corn, which had macaroni and cheese in it.
Yeah.
So we ate pretty much in the main dining room every night for dinner.
It was one or two days we didn't eat
We
in the
eat
dining
in the
room.
Lido.
Yeah.
It was bleh.
But I figured out there towards the end of the trip, in the Marco Polo restaurant on sea days, you could have like a pasta bar, which is kind of like your cucino del Capitano that you could do on the other ships. But we didn't do it. We did the bonsai sushi one day too.
Yeah, I did Guy's Burgers with Aunt Kathy and Q when you guys did sushi.
Definitely, if you're a sushi person, it's worth it. The rolls are $8 or $9
It really
each.
wasn't that expensive for 4 people.
No.
With the amount of food that we got. And here I was like, oh, I'm not going to eat all of mine. Y'all will have to help me. It's too much. No, I ate the whole thing.
She doesn't do sushi, so she got the teriyaki filet mignon, which she liked. It looked really good.
New Year's Eve was definitely the best food.
The
in
New Year's
dining room.
Eve food was really good. They had a special menu for that night.
Awesome.
And that was the first time I ever ordered two entrees.
Yeah.
And it was good. I really liked the ham because they had it with raisin sauce, and that's how my mom used to make ham when I was growing up. So it was a little nostalgic for me.
Great.
But I got the filet mignon that night, which was really good.
Overall, I would definitely say as the cruise went on, the meals in the main dining room were better. It started off kind of rough. Sea day brunch, we went on the first day. She had to go get coffee refills for all of us,
And water.
And my sister went and got water refills. Like we refilling our own at the table because nobody came around.
We seriously thought we were done, and we were getting ready to go, and then they brought dessert, and it just wasn't that great. And they've changed the sea day brunch menu so much that I honestly could give or take. Because what you can get there, you can get upstairs in the Lido at this point. The macaroni and cheese shrunk, and it wasn't as good as it has been before.
Yeah.
The French toast wasn't bad, but it wasn't the 12-hour French toast.
Yeah.
And then I got the cheese plate a couple of times for dessert, and the cheese has shrunk.
But you're still on a cruise.
But you're still on a cruise, and like you said, a cruise day is better than a work day any day. Now, I will say, what I do really like in the MDR now, when you're looking at it on your phone, you scroll to the right. And you can get a vegan option and also a gluten option, which is great. And sometimes I like to I like my pasta without meat. I'm just weird that way. And they had pasta on the first night that was on the vegan menu, and I ordered it because I didn't really want a steak and I didn't see anything that I wanted on the first menu, and I ended up getting the spaghetti, and it was fantastic. And it even had garbanzo beans, chickpeas, whatever you want to call it. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have that option, and you could order appetizers from, you could mix and match. They didn't really care. So I did enjoy I felt like we had more options.
But overall, the food selection, no complaints. I mean, they had a lot more specialty dinings. They had the steakhouse. They had the Italian restaurant, which looked gorgeous. We walked in there on accident.
Yeah, we walked in there on accident.
Didn't know where we were at, but there was nobody in there, so they didn't kick us out. But absolutely gorgeous in there.
Anibal ate there, and him and his wife and their friends ate there, and he said it was fantastic. So.
Yeah, then we had the sushi. They had a hibachi restaurant, a teppanyaki restaurant in there. So they had a lot of specialty dining options. You would never run out of food options.
No. And even the deli was good. I had a ham and cheese sandwich a couple times, and that was really good.
Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Twice.
He had the steak and cheese a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
There was no complaints.
None.
During C Days for lunch, they also had the seafood shack in the back.
Oh, yes. I forgot about this.
Was Asian noodle place.
And the spring rolls were so good.
Yeah, the spring rolls were good.
We won't talk about how many times I went back and got spring rolls.
Yeah. So we had that, but then they also had, in the afternoon, they had the seafood shack.
Which, the seafood shack is, you pay extra.
Right.
The
Asian noodles.
The Asian noodles and you don't.
Right. Like I said, there was a couple nights we didn't care for what was on the main dining room, so we decided to eat dinner in the Lido deck, which was great because it's 99% the same food.
Like, that was the good thing about this ship. I feel like every time we got pizza, it was very fresh.
Right.
And, still hot.
Yeah.
You know what I don't remember seeing?
What?
On embarkation day, I do not remember seeing
The
funfetti cheesecake.
I don't remember seeing that
They had
either.
cheesecake on the first day, though.
They had in the
NDR.
Oh.
But in the...
on the Lido buffet, embarkation day, they always have the funfetti cheesecake. In the end, is what you expect from Carnival.
And the late night buffets weren't bad either.
Right. Now let's go on to entertainment. Unfortunately, because this is going to sound really negative, but it's not meant to be. Because it was a family cruise with family that we don't get to see all the time, we spend a lot of time just sitting around talking and sharing memories and creating new memories. And we didn't see a lot of the shows.
We wanted to go to
The Rock Show.
the
Epic
rock
Rock-
show,
Epic
the
Rock.
Epic Rocks, but dinner was really slow that night, so we missed
Yeah,
it.
that was New Year's Eve.
Yes, we saw one of the shows. We saw two.
We saw Vintage Pop.
Yeah, that was great. And
Which
I know we've seen it before, but it was great.
Right, which was like a 1920s swing pop dance, which was great. I mean, it was great, but that was the only one we saw, just because we never ended up making it to other shows.
Well, we did. We saw the last show on the last night.
Yeah, we did see the Love and Marriage show.
The one that London was in that nobody knew she was going to be in.
The World Works Here.
Yeah, when we went to the show, the 1920 show, I don't remember the name of
Vintage
it.
Pop.
Vintage Pop. The rest of the family went to the comedy club. We're not big into comedy clubs, so we didn't go. We went to the show instead. Now, the after show parties that Lee would bring out to the Atrium Bar was fun too, and we saw a couple of the after party shows.
Lee, your cruise director, was our cruise director. It was his last one until he officially got promoted as fleet cruise director. Absolutely phenomenal. Have no issues with him. He's a great person, easy to talk to, created a lot of fun atmospheres. We did the Love and Marriage show, which was funny as always.
The 80s.
The 80s rock and glow.
We did the 80s rock and glow party. We did the Italian...
The white party, yeah.
The Italian white party.
We were going to go to Silent Disco.
Right. But that was another thing because of the roof. It rained that night. So we showed up to Silent Disco, and it was raining, and the roof was open.
I ran past the Silent Disco a couple times. It was not silent. It was not silent. It was not silent.
But the entertainment that we did see was great.
Yes. The playlist production crew was great.
I feel like out of all the Carnival ships we've been on, this is the most that we've seen the playlist production cast outside of the theater too.
On the first night, you've got your welcome aboard show, and then they took everything out from there and went to the atrium, and they had a whole big old party led by the playlist production. They were out there dancing with everybody. I can't complain about the entertainment staff. The only thing is I wish we would have done more of the playlist shows.
But that was on us because we chose to hang out with family instead.
What did you think of the Club O2 staff?
I didn't even pay attention, to be honest.
All right, cool. 15-year-old boy. Yeah, he was there, met some friends, hung around with the friends, hung around with his cousins, and
Listen, I only went to Carnival too because Carson and Luna went there. If they decided not to go, I was not going to be there.
let's talk about the ports that we went to. This particular one, we sailed out of Port Canaveral, had 2 sea days, then we did 3 ports. We did Mahogany Bay, Roatan, Honduras, then we went to Belize, and we finished up in Cozumel. First one was Mahogany Bay. We woke up there on New Year's Day.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's New Year's Day. That's right. I forgot about that.
And we all kind of did our own little thing. The 2 of us, plus our nephew and niece, we went and just hung out on the beach.
It was so fun and so relaxing.
The water actually was not that cold.
No, it really wasn't.
I mean, like anything else, it took a couple seconds to get used to, but other than that, we were fine. And Joaquin went with the other cousins and his aunt and uncle, and they did the pirates, parrots, monkeys
Walking tour.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
yeah.
They had fun. We had fun.
That's
all that matters.
There was one monkey that was about ready to marry Q because they kept licking Q's head.
Okay.
Okay then. Well,
That's the X-rated version. You got to pay for that subscription to get that one. Mahogany Bay is beautiful. I love that area.
oh, and if you ever go, you have to do the little walking trail.
Yeah, do the
thingies.
little nature trail.
That we had so much fun on that, and that you and I just did
Right.
on our own. We enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've never been, it's a good free beach day. Mm-hmm. The chairs are out there. You don't have to pay to rent the chairs. You don't have to do anything.
As of this filming, you don't have to.
As of this filming, correct. You don't have to. That might change later on. You never know. But it's a nice, relaxing day, which is a good after you spent the night before staying up till 2:00 in the morning because it was New Year's Eve.
We were way past our bedtime.
Yeah. So the next day was
Belize.
which I will be 100% honest with you. If I never go back to Belize, I'm okay with it.
Honestly, if we ever go back, I don't know that I'd get off the ship. I think I would enjoy the ship.
I'm with you.
I might go get a massage. They're cheaper on port days.
I would get off the ship only because I like the tender ride over.
I do like the Tinder, and I actually did enjoy going out of the little port area and going to the little flea market thing.
Yeah. Belize is not a bad port. You just have to really know where you're going and what you're getting yourself
Or get
into.
an excursion.
We had an excursion. It was going to be the jungle cruise.
Oh, it was gonna be like a whole tour.
Yeah, it was a whole 7-hour tour.
But we decided not to because of weather.
There's nothing wrong with the port. Absolutely nothing wrong with the port, but there's just not a lot to do if you do not have an excursion. I think we might have been in port
It's like an hour and a half.
an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Joaquin and I took a great nap that afternoon.
They took a nap. I walked around the ship. The next day, Cozumel.
That's my favorite port. I love it so much.
I've been to Cozumel 3 times last year. Never once had an excursion. I probably never will get an excursion. Now I will be 100% honest. We live in Florida. We live in Orlando. So for us to go to the beach, we can go an hour east and we're in Daytona Beach or Cocoa Beach. We go an hour west, we're in Clearwater. We go 2 hours to 2.5 hours south, we're in South Beach in Miami. We have the best beaches some of the best beaches in the world. within 2 hours from us. So for us to go to Cozumel and get a beach day, it doesn't make any sense.
And I'm not going to swim with dolphins.
We can swim with dolphins in the wild, which probably not the safest thing, but we can do that. With saying that, if you want to go to Cozumel and you want to go to Paradise Beach, you want to go to Mr. Sancho's, you want to do things like that, that is great. It is not my cup of tea. It's not our thing, just because we can do that on a random Tuesday or a random Saturday. Cozumel is one of those ports where we will probably be pier runners at one point or another if we weren't.
We were literally one of the first ones on and one of the last ones to get back on. Well, first we got coffee.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this coffee. I ordered a mocha. They made it with a Mexican hot chocolate. I loved it so much that I went back and got another one before we got back on the ship.
So then we got coffee. We went down to the Blue Taco Truck.
Growing up, when we would go visit my mom's family in Mexico, my favorite thing was eating tacos parados, and that's exactly what we did. We ate our tacos standing up.
Yeah.
With the car zooming by you.
Yep. $2 tacos. They're $2 for all the tacos.
We bought our oldest child luchador masks, and then we bought our middle child tequila. Two very different children.
And guess what? They left me, which becomes a pattern.
I wonder why.
I wonder why, because you're yakking with people.
Yakking?
I'm famous. Hello. So yeah, they end up leaving me like everybody else does in Cozumel. I get left there. So one of these days I'm going to get left there and I'm just going to stay. And I know exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to dress as Santa Claus every day.
Hey, funny question. How did you get your Santa suit from Florida to Cozumel?
I'll get a little
I'll
find my little abuela down there. She'll make me one.
Okay.
And I'll work for tips every day from all you cruise people. You come down, are you Facebook Jason? Nope, I'm Santa's Claus.
Santa's Claus?
Yes.
Santa's Claus.
When did we leave you in Cozumel?
When you were going back on the boat?
Well, on the ship I started talking and y'all...
that's right. We just took off.
You and Anthony, we all went...
So those were our ports. We got on a Sunday, had C Day, the port.
C Day.
Then it's C Day on the way back, and then they kicked us off. That's pretty much a wrap up of our cruise and the highlights, the lowlights, the some lights, anything like that you want to talk about.
Anything and everything.
So let's finish up. Each give our synopsis of the cruise, and then we're going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 Facebook Jasons. All right, Wax.
What?
Highlights, lowlights, best part, worst part, and how many Facebook Jasons would you rate the cruise?
Best part, hanging out with family. Worst part, getting off the boat.
And now how many Facebook Jasons? 1 to 5. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst.
I'd say a 4.
4 Facebook Jasons?
Yeah, I should know. 5. I'd say 5 Facebook Jasons. Perfect.
Miss Mom.
Yes.
Miss Julia.
Highlights, lowlights, and how many Facebook Jasons would you rate it?
I think the highlights are spending time with family, having one of my work besties on there too. That wasn't planned, but that was kind of a highlight. I think a low light for me was getting some sad news on New Year's Eve, but we still made the best of it. But I would definitely give this cruise 5 Facebook Jasons. I realized halfway, not that I didn't realize, I always know this, but life is too short and it's all about making memories, and it put that in a different perspective, and I really enjoyed the time that I had with our family, your sister, my nephews, our nephews. It just, I don't know, it was very family, and I think for me, that's what meant the most. Definitely 5 Facebook Jasons. The ship, gorgeous. I loved that ship. It's been my favorite one so far. Used to be the Magic, but the Venezia, I don't know. It was just something about being with family, and New Year's Eve made it even more special about being with family.
Now, to me, I honestly would say the highlight was family. And I say this, and I don't take it lightly. I don't mean it lightly. It's really about family and creating those memories. There's one night at dinner we sat and talked, my sister and I talked about our grandparents. Part of this whole channel is about taking and making those memories and making them count with your family. Primarily on cruises for us. I would say the worst part about the cruise and it's not even a worst part because you're on a cruise ship. There's not a bad thing because look, a cruise day is better than a work day any day. I say that, and I will say that a lot because it's really true. The hardest part is leaving. And honestly, if you've ever been a Carnival cruise, you know that last day in the main dining room when they sing the song. Yeah, I cry every single time. Luckily, we didn't hear it this time. The last couple of times we've been on a Carnival cruise, we don't eat that last day because I don't like that song.
We don't eat the MDR.
Spending a week with the family and then knowing that we're going back and we're here in Florida, they're in Ohio and Kentucky, and we're not going to see them as often. And it's hard. It's missing out on the family is the worst part about the cruise.
And I think we all needed it.
So in the end, 5 Facebook Jasons without a doubt. Nothing bad can happen on a cruise. There are bad things that can happen, but you're on a cruise. You've got people there taking care of you. You're with loved ones, you're with family. That's all you really need. If you learned anything from this vlog, anything from this page, anything from this whole area, take the time to love on your family. In the end, it doesn't matter what a cruise costs because you're paying for memories. You're not paying for anything else. So take care of yourself and each other. Love on your family. And always remember that a cruise day is better than a work day any day. And let's go cruise.
What's up, everybody? This ain't Jason here. This is Joseph Barber. Just telling you, Jason's awesome. Facebook Jason, follow him, alright?